Grace contacted me last year. She started telling me about her friend's case, and even though I don't normally do criminal stuff, this case was really compelling because instantly there were a lot of violations and different things going wrong with this. And where we grew up is a really small town, and there's not a lot of available resources or programs or really lawyers, anything to get help. So as she started telling me about it, I decided that since there wasn't a lot of resources, that I would kind of do what I could to help. And that's when I kind of dived in and started learning a little bit more about this, and discovered that there was a tremendous miscarriage of justice going on here, and I felt compelled to get involved. So let's start from the beginning. Grace, why don't you tell us a little bit about like how this exactly got started?
So on Friday, October the 18th, his PO officer had sent him a text message telling him that she got paperwork from Virginia, and he needed to come in the office on Monday. That would have been the 21st.
Okay.
So when he came in on Monday the 21st, he was given the detain and hold order, and he was taken to Winton jail.
Okay, now let me pause you for just 1 second. So guys, what she's talking about, this detain and hold thing. So essentially it's like a capious motion. So basically what it is it's a, we're not arresting you, but we think you might have done something wrong, so we're gonna hold you until we're sure you've done something wrong, or not sure, and then we'll let you go. So it's like a, maybe you did something, we're not sure, hang tight, we'll figure it out eventually. That's what that is. So basically at this point he gets to Winton, Mr. Downing's in Winton, okay?
So we had no clue what was going on except for the fact that he was going to have a hearing within 15 days. That's what it stated on the paper.
So with that paper, by law, there's a statute for this, in order to ensure that you're basically not held in this maybe status. You have a maximum of 15 days to have a probable cause hearing, which basically is the hearing where they determine whether they're going to move forward and do something or not. But Section A of that basically is the part that says specifically they can hold you for a maximum of 15 days to have this, probable cause hearing. At that point, you're supposed to get written notification of what they think you've done if they're going to move forward with something. So you read the paper and it tells you 15 days, and it doesn't really say anything else, right?
Nothing. We were under the impression that before 15 days was over, we would have the hearing and be done with it, or find out where we were moving to next.
What happened after that? Tell me about your next 15 days.
After the first 15 days, he was held. We had no clue what was going on. We were told that Virginia was going to come and pick him up.
Okay.
And that is all that we knew. We knew nothing else. At 30 days, he got picked up, still not knowing exactly what was going on.
And then he was sent to Hampton,
Virginia.
After 30 days. Mr. Downing was supposed to have a hearing in 15 days, and you didn't have any clue what was going on. He didn't have any clue what was going on. He's missing work, waiting around for some answers.
After 30 days, Hampton, Virginia picked him up. 2 days later, I was able to go and visit him, take him thermals, because it was extremely cold in there. He was really cold. He was having like dizzy spells and all of this, so I took him t-shirts, socks, thermals, and while waiting there, he was taken over to the magistrate's office to be charged with another case from Brunswick County, Virginia. I waited an hour and a half waiting to see him, and then, he was extremely upset because he was just charged with this other
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, he still doesn't even know what this original thing is even about.
Right, he's not even had his arraignment.
Yeah, there's nothing, there's no probable cause hearing, nothing. Two charges, possibly, with no clue what's happening.
Exactly.
They just blew right past that statute in every single way possible. Which is, I mean, appalling to say the least.
It was absolutely horrible. We had no clue what was going on. He was completely lost. He had no answers. I couldn't find out anything. I made numerous calls trying to find out. No one could say anything. Or they would tell me, we don't know what's going on. Nobody knew.
Why was it so hard to find him in the system?
He was under a name that did not belong to him.
So he under a name that wasn't his name, not his birth name.
Exactly.
He's under some random name. At this point, it's just I can't even imagine. Not knowing what's going on at all, like clueless, and then you're not even being called your actual name. Like, how long did it actually go on?
They did not do a hearing until December the 6th. It was absolutely horrible. He's now lost his car, along with his house and his job. His life is not going to be the same at all.
So just all this stuff, went into default, owes the landlord money, stuff getting thrown out. This was the part that really got me, honestly. Speaking as a person who's lost everything they own a couple times now, I can tell you how absolutely devastating that is. And combined with a situation like this, to where you don't even know what's going on, you don't know why you're there.
No one can search for him.
And no one can search for him because of the name thing. So at this point, you are just invisible. You're in, and I just want you to imagine that for a second. Imagine, some of you live with a spouse that can, pay the mortgage while you're gone or whatever. But imagine for a second that you don't. I live alone. I can't imagine walking out one day and not coming home. Thank God he didn't have a pet or something. I can't even fathom that. I have a cat. If I walked out and the cops decided to just grab me and hang on to me, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, of course, my first call would be to take care of my cat, but who's going to pay the bills while I'm gone?
Right.
Who's going to do all that stuff? And then, you got all these people worried about you, and, and then 30 days go by, and this is supposed to be taken care of,
Exactly.
in 15, or at least a hearing to figure out what's going on, But still, this goes on over 30 days.
It does.
We've talked a lot about Brunswick because that one's the worst, having the double jeopardy, Fifth Amendment violation, which is huge, and that's why we focused on that. But we did kind of overlap a little bit because there's a lot of similarities that Hampton is doing that's pretty much the same. With Hampton, they're the ones who initially filed the detain and hold paperwork. So the clerical errors and all these other things that are going on with that paperwork started with Hampton. And, I'm assuming that Brunswick kind of just hopped on board with whatever they had done. Now, he's not even showing up in the Department of Corrections at all.
He is
like,
not.
He doesn't exist anymore.
I can't find him by either name nor his number.
This actually happened once before. We went down to Hampton. And there was nothing. We looked, there was nothing. We looked online, we went down to Hampton. At this point, he had been in custody for a while.
For at least 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
at least 3 weeks, and they had no idea. And
I
you know,
went again to Hampton and was sent from one court to another,
mm-hmm.
and then back to that court,
Mm-hmm.
and no one could tell me anything.
Well, and then no one there at the Hampton County Courthouse could answer our calls either.
Right.
You know, we were given, you know, they basically told us while we were there, well, nothing shows up, you know, we don't have him, we don't know what you're talking about, you know, we don't have any charges pending for, you know, and then, you know, we decided to check the other name that we knew had happened, you know, previously with
Right.
Winton, and still nothing.
Right.
And then we were given a phone number for, you know, for them to say, oh, you know, do you want to talk to this lady? She's in charge of this, and this.
Yes.
So we repeatedly called her that
Nothing.
same day. Nothing. We
next
called her
day.
another day. Nothing. Literally no one in either of these counties will take any phone calls or, you know, answer any questions about anything.
Return any calls.
You know, they won't return calls. Here, in this case, normally I will defend public defenders, you know, by saying they're underfunded and overworked, and maybe that is the case for 99.9% of them. But this particular one, he was told more than once, and he actually didn't even get to speak to him until recently.
Today
was the first time. So yeah, today was the very first time he got to speak to him. We're at about 115 days, give or take. No,
13.
113 days as of this exact second. Then he finally gets to talk to this guy. And he tells this guy about the double jeopardy. He insists, no, I've already done this. You know, Hampton, you know, 2012, it's been over, blah, blah, blah. This guy doesn't care.
No. He wants him
He
to
says
serve
they're
time.
doing it anyway. Plead guilty. You know, these you know, public defenders are encouraging people to plead guilty to a double jeopardy charge. I mean, there are just countless issues here. I mean, you're having to work extra. You're having to do extra, you know, bending over backwards. I know you switched your phone number so that it would be cheaper for you to call him.
Right.
So there's just all these layers of stuff that people don't even think about.
It's been extremely hard trying to just make sure that I can keep money. I ended up getting fired from my job due to, I'm assuming, the stress that I was under, making sure that he was straight, not knowing what was going on.
Yeah. Well, and you had to manage his stuff too. You know, you
yes,
had to juggle all this.
There was no one that
and
was there to help. Luckily, you know, my family was able to help monetary, and that is the only help that I've had was from family members. It's very, like, heartbreaking. What if he didn't have me? You know, it would be absolutely horrible.
I mean, it's horrible either way, but yes, at least he does have somebody on the outside that cares, and somebody that can reach out and contact the people that he needs in order to get where he needs to go. Hopefully. Get where he needs to go. Like, what is he thinking at this point? Like, I can't even imagine.
He's starting to give up. He doesn't know what else to do. We can't afford a lawyer. You know, we've had really hard time making sure that we can even talk on the phone. So it's been really, it's affecting him mentally, emotionally, physically. He's having high blood pressure issues. It costs money to go see a medical when you're in. So that's been an issue. I had to go through the heartache of telling him that his car was taken. It's been rough. It has been really rough trying to make sure that money goes to the right account when he gets switched, learning a whole nother account.
Charge you to be in jail too. I just learned that. I didn't know that. I guess I feel like I don't know. I had no idea that you had to pay to be there. That's wild.
We paid $1 a day the whole time that he was in Hampton.
Okay, so $1 a day that you have to pay, and then you have to pay to talk to him. You got to pay for him to have basic necessities.
Toiletries,
Yes, food, all that
any
crap.
type of extra
And I knew
snacks,
about
so-
that, but I didn't realize you had to like actually pay to be there. Winton still owes her $17, which isn't a big deal to most people, but that's a lot of money when you keep switching, you know, where you're going, and you got to put money here, then, oh, they transfer you, and you left money in this account. You know, I don't even know how you get that back. I don't even know what you do. Winton, mail her money back, or whatever you got to do. So there's that too. So you're like, every time there's like a transfer or whatever, you know, you got to worry about a new system. And earlier today, you know, she put money on the Hampton, correct?
That was, yes.
No, it was a transfer.
No, I put money yesterday on Hampton because I've been putting enough money on every day for him to be able to contact me, because that's all that I've been able to afford.
Yeah. And then with each transfer, there's like, you know,
I get charged $3 every time that I put on money. So basically, one phone call cost us $5.
it's very sad. And, you know, I myself was convicted of a crime I didn't commit. So, I mean, this happens to, it can happen to anybody, you know, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I know how that feels.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
It really does.
And it sucks to lose all your shit, and it sucks to, you know, maybe he did commit a crime forever ago. He did his time. That's over. He got his life together.
Yes, he did.
You know? He had a car, he had a house, you know?
He had a full-time job that he was very good at.
And he enjoyed.
Yeah,
you know,
he
he always
did.
had people, friends that cared about him.
Right.
And now literally all this stuff, you know,
It's changed
stemming
like that.
from crap in 2001, which if you ask me, the stuff in 2001 wasn't handled correctly either. If you look at, you know, just the overview of all of it, you know, from day one, in my opinion, things were not handled correctly. You know, as of his court date, which is next week, he will have been in their custody total for 117 days without an actual hearing. That is practically a jail sentence, is what that is.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, I know people, you know, rich people that got DUIs and they weren't locked up for this long. And this is a maybe. Maybe you did something wrong. We're going to hold you
Exactly.
for 117 days. That is cruel. That's irrational. I mean, that's a violation of due process.
Right.
You know? Where's
He's
the
been
right to a
denied
speedy
bail.
trial? Speedy
Exactly.
trial, where is that? 117 days. You think that's a speedy trial?
On
And
something
then your
that you
lawyer
did.
is telling you to plead guilty to a double jeopardy charge? I don't even have words for how shitty this is. And it needs to stop, guys. We gotta get this together. People need to be treated equally and fairly. And people need to, you know, have proper representation in court. Whatever you gotta do to increase the funding, you know, and reduce the caseload, do it.
Right.
It's not fair that if you have money, you can just get let off with anything you want.
Exactly.
Anything.
Exactly. And if you're poor, then you have to just sit there.
This just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen to anybody. It shouldn't happen to him. It shouldn't happen to anybody else. And we need your help. So share this video. If you have friends in Virginia, if you have a lawyer friend in Virginia, send them to us. If you know anybody that can help, you know, and even if you can't help, just share the video. That will help. We're going to do, like I said, a crowdfunding. That's going to be posted on the video here because we need to raise money to get, you know, some lawyer and to kind of, you know, help them with these, you know, these fines and these fees and, you know, all this stuff, you know, all this stuff that he's lost over this, you know, this is killing them.
They're adding up.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe, you know, just something. Even if it's only $1, guys, just do something, you know.
Anything would help.
If you can't, you know, if you can't help, then share it, you know. If you can share it, great. You know, if you can throw $1 in and share it, then do that, you know, whatever you can do. Because this shit happens every day. And, you know, it's not, I wish it was a rarity. You know, it's not.
It's not. It's very common.
It's very common, and you know, especially if you're a minority, and in particular if you're a minority. And it's a sad world we live in, and we gotta fix it.
Thank y'all for sharing and taking the time to watch this.
Yes, we appreciate it very much, and we'll be in touch.